Hey everyone! Alright, so I look kind of crazy right now. Everything's uneven and my contours are pretty extreme, and there's a purpose for that. This video is going to show you how to contour and highlight, and I did each side differently, like different shapes and stuff like that. So just so you could actually see, I use products that I normally wouldn't use to contour and highlight on myself, so they show up more. So you can see the contours really showing up. The highlight is like a highlight. Yeah, so just a little bit on contouring and highlighting. You can use any kind of product when you do this. You can use creams, you can use liquids, powders, doesn't matter. The only thing that would be different is if you're going to use cream-based products for either your contour or your highlight, whatever you're going to use it for, you want to make sure that you use the creams and liquids before you actually use powders. So a contour is to make areas shaded or to recede them. So like the hollows of your cheekbones is a good example, or to conceal a double chin, make your bottom lip seem plumper. It pretty much creates a shadow. So shadows recede, so that's what it's going to do. With the highlight, it does exactly the opposite. It's going to make that area stand out and pop out a little bit more. Like you can see right now, my highlights are really standing out. So it just makes an area pop out. So the higher planes of your cheeks, the center of your nose, above your top lip, many different areas that you can contour and highlight. Now, the best way the best trick that's gonna help you with your contouring and highlighting, take your hands and just feel your face. Seriously, just map out the land and learn it. Once you learn your own bone structure, it's gonna help with contouring and highlighting a lot. You won't have to really feel anymore or do any guesswork because you'll just know where everything should fall. So it's just going to help in the long run. So seriously, just feel around, figure out your bone structure. Also, another trick that I know is if you take your face and feel where your cheekbone is, so I can see the bottom of my cheekbone is right here. If you take your finger and set it right on that, like right above it, then, so pretty much the bottom right here lines up with the bottom. Then you take one finger, two fingers, right here, that area that I was just in, that's the hollow, and you can see, I can press it in. That's the hollow of my cheekbone. Now if you do the same thing, set the finger right there and put one finger on top of it, this general area right here is great for a highlight. That's usually the highest plane of your cheek, so that's a great area that you can use to set your highlight. Again, might be different for you. Just map out your face and you'll see what will work best for you. Now, when you contour, you want to use matte or satin products. You don't want to use stuff that reflects lighting because you're trying to make it recede. If anything has shimmer in it, once the light bounces off of that, it's going to pop out. So using more matte textured products or matte finished products will help in the long run. And then for your highlight, you can use matte, you can use satin, you can use any kind of texture. Most people turn towards shimmery or frosty products only because they do reflect lighting and they make it pop out a little bit more. I tend to use something that's more on the satin end because I don't really like frosty stuff. Right now this is way too much for me, so yeah. Whatever you use is going to be up to you, so use what you want. In this video, I just use a very dark matte foundation. This has full coverage, so you can see the contour. And then for my highlight, I actually just use a shimmery powder. So yeah, what you use is going to be totally up to you. And with that said, I would like some help from all of you, actually. In the comments below, go ahead and leave me a comment on products that you like to use to contour and highlight. You can help out by just telling me what you like to use and just give like a little description of your skin tone. You can say if you're fair, you can say if you're got a darker skin tone, if you're tan or a light olive, anything like that, and just let everyone know so that way they can see, and then you might also be able to find new products to use as well. With all of that said, let's just go right in and get all of this started. Okay, so the most common area to contour is, of course, the cheekbones. Like, this raises out with a highlight, this is contoured. earlier in the video, I showed you like a great way to figure out your bone structure and to map it out pretty much. So depending on your bone structure is also going to depend on how you contour and highlight. Now, it doesn't stick 100%. You don't have to follow that because you can use contours and highlights to change the shape of things. So you most definitely do not have to follow your own bone structure. But if you're going for more of a natural look, it's pretty much going to help you if you just follow your natural bone structure. Once you get the hang of it, then you can start changing your face shape a little bit more and like really getting into it. But there are mainly like 3 ways, I guess you could say, to contour the cheek and for a different shape. And that would be to just do an angle like that goes just like that, kind of like an 80s style cheek or the 80s blush that was more angular. Another one is to come down, but then once you hit right here in this area, like kind of that general area, you would curve your contour down to sink all of this in. It's a little bit more of a masculine way of contouring because it really chisels out the face. And then of course there's the way where you can just go down and scoop up. So, and you can kind of see the shape. Like if I press right there, that's the shape I'd be going for. I want that to pop out in like a little crescent shape right there. So those are like 3 main ways, I guess you could say. There's tons and tons of other ways that you can do it, but those are the 3 easiest. And then you can take whatever brush you're going to use. Again, this is going to be different for everyone. And then tap off the extra. Did you see all that loose dust just come off? Tap it off. Don't blow on it. Blowing on it, sometimes you can get spit on it, and you don't want spit on your brushes. It's not cool. You can also like tap it on the back of your hand or on your wrist, anything like that. But to start your contour, you kind of want to line it up with this general area of your ear, like the top portion of your ear. You don't want to do this top portion up here, that's your temple. You kind of want to go right in here, because that's pretty much where, like you can see, my cheekbone pops out right there, so I'm still in that general area. Then you're just going to take your brush and start your contour. So you can see that. So you can see I just started blending my edge so it's softer, so I don't have any harsh lines. And now for me, I always contour down because that's more of the shape that it takes, and I don't like really high cheeks like that unless it's like more drag. So I'm just going to come down in this area very lightly with my blending. Blend out all my edges so there are no harsh lines. So I have my contour on this side. I did a little bit on this side, but I'm going to show you the scoop shape. So same thing, you just take it back, and then you would scoop right here. So you can see that's really rounded out now compared to this one, which is more sculpted. Now I'm going to do the jawline. Now on this side, since we're going more sculpted, I'm going to just actually contour to make my jawline stand out more. So I'm actually just going to go right underneath my jawline and then blend down. And then instead of coming in front of my ear, your jawline actually kind of lines up right with the bottom of your ear. So if you just go behind your ear slightly, you can see it really helps that line pop out. On this side, we're going to kind of re-sculpt the jawline. So it's not in that shape, we're just going to soften it out, bring it up a little bit so it's not as defined. So instead of going underneath like we did right here, I'm actually going to go right on my jawline, and I'll put a little bit on there. So you can see I actually did it on there instead of underneath. And then I'm just going to blend that. And this time you will blend in front of the ear. Just rounds it out, softens it up compared to the other side, which is more like angular, I guess. So yeah. Another place that you can contour is, of course, your nose. So to do that, I'm actually going to use a smaller brush, and I'm just going to use this one, which is an angled brush for contouring, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit of my powder on the tip. So you can go right in, and you can go pretty much from like the inside corner of your brow, and then you're going to take it, and you're going to bring this line straight down. I'm going to try to look in the screen to do this. Alright, so I have the lines on my nose, and you want to stay clear of this center area right here. And the reason for that is because if you get the contour on there, it kind of defeats the purpose. You are going to want to highlight there. So, take the same brush. If there's anything left on it, just wipe off the extra. And to blend this, you're going to take it and blend back, away from the nose. So you can see just doing that, I'm slowly diffusing this hard line. Okay, so I blended that in, and another thing I forgot to mention before I started contouring the nose is if the bridge of your nose doesn't protrude as much or it's a little bit more on the flat side, contouring on the sides next to it will help pop that out a little bit. Or even when you do your eyeshadow, if you do a darker color right in here, that'll help as well. And while I'm on the subject of that, what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to take my bigger brush again, and I'm going to pick up my color for a contour, and then right here on the inner corner of my eyes, right above my crease, next to the bridge of my nose, I'm just putting that color right there, and then blending it out. And you can see that adds a little shadow right there. I'll blend that out better later. But that adds the shadow, so you can see compared to this side, this pops out a little bit more since you have that shadow right there. So if you're using a darker eyeshadow, you can always dust some in there. You can use a blush color, anything. You can contour with anything. So yeah, I'm just going to even that out and do the other side. Moving on, another place you can contour would be your temples and your forehead. Now for the temples, pretty much just go from the corner of your brow and go back straight to your hairline. Or if you have a wide forehead, you can actually take your contour from your temple and extend it right in front of your hairline a little bit right here up, and then curve it and then bring it into your hairline. I don't like to contour up there too much, so yeah. And then if you have a high forehead, like a Tyra Banks forehead, you can actually contour right in front of your hairline to bring your hairline down a little bit. So that's another great way to contour. Let me just even this part out. Then there's one place everyone does, but they don't really think of it as being a contour, and that is your crease. So I'm just going to go in and do a little contour in my crease. Then another place, yes, there's more. You can, of course, contour underneath your bottom lip to make it appear more full. Another place to contour is if you have a double chin or just have a little extra hanging right here, you'd actually put your contour on and blend down and back, pretty much the same way you do your jawline. Okay, so areas to highlight. Now, you're pretty much going to do them in the areas where you didn't contour. So I'm just going to take a shimmery powder, and then I'm just going to take a flat blush brush, and then pretty much right here next to the nose, and then over onto the higher planes of the cheek, so you can see that really added a highlight. And then with having it next to where I contoured the nose, that's going to make it stand out, and then I can just bring it over to this area and blend it out. And keep in mind, I'm doing this pretty dramatic. You won't really want to walk around with that high of a shine next to that much darkness. I'm just doing it so you can see the effect. Everything you're going to do is going to be toned down and more natural, unless you're going for a dramatic effect, of course. Then you can also highlight right underneath your contours, and this will actually make them pop out even more, and then you just blend those down. My cheek is really popping out right now. Then you can highlight on your jawline. Then right in the center of your forehead. Then of course you can go down the center of the nose. Then of course the most popular common highlight, brow highlight. And right above your top lip. So now you guys know some ways to help with contouring and highlighting. Make sure you leave comments below telling everyone of your favorite products to contour with. And you can also give an idea of like your skin tone. And until my next video, I will talk to all of you soon. Bye.